Viewers and subscribers, welcome back to Beating the Press podcast. I am your host, Rafa. Now, coming up in this evening's podcast, we're going to be reviewing the Euros and the Copa America. Argentina running away big winners, and over there on the European side, Spain defeating England. Now, joining me this evening to review these matches, we have returning to the podcast, Christoph.
Good to be back, viewers.
Yes, indeed, Christoph. Let's kick things off over there at the Copa America. Argentina, Messi lifting another Copa America. This one, it took extra time, but Argentina came out victorious. Talk to us, Christoph. How did you see this one? I would say lots of incidents down there in Miami. Game delayed, fan stampede. This game had everything.
That is to be expected in a match like this, and it's quite telling, to be honest. I think people probably should be a little bit worried about the World Cup to come in a few years' time if this is what is happening. No, but when the World Cup is bigger, what will they do? They need better preparation. They still have 2 years, so time is there. But Argentina versus Colombia. Interesting game. Expected Argentina to win, but I must say there was a lot of questionable refereeing, in my opinion, done in that game. I don't know. Argentina winning back-to-back Copa. They won the World Cup back-to-back Copa, and I hear the comparisons of that Spain team of what was it? Spain 2008 Euro, 2010 World Cup, and then 2012 Euro again. So there's a comparison. Which team is the better team? I don't know what they're comparing. That Spain team is far better.
Well, well, I mean, it's hard to compare eras, but if you're looking at it from a trophy or a silverware point of view, these teams are now equal in stature, just based on the number of silverwares won. But I'm sure the Argentinian fans would argue that this Argentinian team has everything, when compared to that Spain team, of course. But, it's oranges versus apples, it would appear. But definitely Argentina digging deep for this one, Christoph, really coming up big. Martinez, the hero in this game, coming up with the winner deep into time added on, or in that extra period, I must say. And it was heartbreak for the Colombians, James Rodriguez being voted best player of the tournament. And I am quite surprised that no big European club, Christoph, has really come in for James. I mean, with him performing at this level in the Copa America, why is there no club, sorting his signature?
I think it's a case of teams just don't want to use traditional number 10s anymore at the moment. Even though the way how the game has evolved currently, a traditional number 10 I think would benefit how everything is played. But I think teams are stepping away from that, and as we've seen, especially with Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City, uh not so much Barcelona, but Real Madrid and Bayern Munich, a lot of teams don't care about really formation anymore, and players are expected to be playing multiple roles in a single game. So
But
I
wouldn't
think,
James, Christoph, though, be a good fit for a team such as Arsenal? I mean, if Odegaard goes down, injured long term, who is the natural replacement? A player like James could really boost that Arsenal squad.
I definitely Arteta needs to have a backup or a replacement in the event Odegaard is injured. I did say it last season, and I've said it, that is one area that needs to be addressed as well. A lot of areas in Arsenal specifically need to be addressed. There's no rotation option for a lot of these roles. But it could also be the salary. James might be demanding a salary that is not in line with how the clubs value him at the moment.
But Christoph, the talent is undeniable. Best player of the Copa America, beating out the likes of a Leon Messi, Alvarez, a McAllister,
Yeah, but this
a
is
Diaz.
this is
Come
what
on,
a
credit has to be given where
37
credit is due.
Yeah, but this is a 37, 38-year-old Messi who really and truly did nothing at the tournament, to be fair.
Well, I mean, his presence was there, that leadership at, at every moment within that Argentinian squad, and that
Right, right.
passion, we
He
could
had
see
a
that playing
present,
out on
but
the
that was
bench
it.
once he was
What was it like?
substituted.
One goal, one assist, I think.
Well, sometimes it's not about the
Messi,
statistics. Sometimes it's the
Messi was
presence
a
alone and that leadership
Messi.
which he'll show.
Messi was a passenger for the Copa America, and then injured in the fire and subbed
Well,
off.
I wouldn't go so far. I mean, his role might not have been the most influential, but I tell you, without a Messi, it would be very difficult for this Argentinian team to have even made it to the final. So sometimes that character cannot be, you cannot be measured via statistics. There are certain traits, certain fundamental traits that statistics alone does not tell the full story. But I mean, congratulations to Argentina, another Copa America under their belt, and definitely one of the teams to beat going forward into World Cup qualifying, and also looking ahead years down the line. There might be a number of changes, but definitely a clear favorite to go and defend their title at the World Cup. But turning our attention, Christoph, what about Colombia? What can we say about this team? 24 games unbeaten run comes to an end in extra time. I must say hats off to Colombia for really coming to the fore and giving a very good account of themselves in this final and in general throughout the entire tournament. Lots of positives from this Colombian team, and definitely one of the teams to watch going forward at the world level. What says you?
Um, Definitely a very good run for Colombia. It's more a matter of, how do they go going forward, with players like James Rodriguez, who was their best player of the tournament, aging potentially out of the team. Do they have enough left to kind of keep them going? But there's definitely a spot there. The coach doing a very good job, and this revival of James is kind of what got them to the final. To be fair, not that the other players did not play well. It was an excellent team performance overall for Colombia. I do feel that they probably deserve to win, but they just fell short at the last at the moment.
Definitely, definitely. I thought the difference in this game was the coaching, in all honesty, Christoph. I saw where Scaloni made a triple substitution in that extra time period. And I think it was that tactical masterclass which really pushed them over the edge when compared with the decision making. If for one, I found it rather strange that James was pulled at such a critical moment in the game. In all honesty, I thought he was a leader out there. He was the one player who could find that killer ball that could unlock this Argentinian defense. And when I saw him being substituted, I was like, oh, it looked as if the writing is on the wall. So I thought the difference in this game, ending 1-0 for Argentina, but it was the substitutions and the tactical decisions from Scaloni, the Argentinian coach, which I thought took it over the line for Argentina. But, many lessons to learn, but lots of positives for Colombian to take going forward. But let's pivot, Christoph. Let's turn our attention over there to Spain. European kings, European champions, getting the better of England, who won in that final. And again, England failing to leave these tournaments with any silverware. And it's another case of falling short. Talk to us, Christoph. How did you see this game? And what of this England team going forward?
Well, I thought England started brightly. I thought they were playing well, in the early games, but as the game progressed, you could see them kind of sitting back and trying to counterattack. Even though I thought on paper they probably, for the most part, has had the better attackers. Not necessarily better defenders, but definitely the better attackers.
Well, I mean, in name only, I would say, Christoph. In
No,
name only.
not in name only. They got Harry Kane, top scorer in the Bundesliga.
No, but
Jude
they haven't
Bellingham.
been performing at the World Cup, is the point I'm making.
No,
Hence why I say in name.
I agree with you.
That
I agree
form
with
at the
you.
club level have not translated over into the Euros, and that was the difference to me in the game. I mean, you look at the likes of Iñaki Williams, the likes of Yamal. These are guys who performed at the club level and took that form and elevated it at these European championships. And the result is there for us to see. Another disappointing tournament, I must say, for England. What can we expect from this England team, though, Christoph, going forward?
Going
Southgate out,
forward,
or talk to us?
personally, me, if I was running the FA, I would definitely replace Southgate. He has shown himself to be a good manager, but he's not an excellent manager. I think it's a matter of him being afraid to take risks. He's afraid to change the system. He has some of his best players on the bench, shackled. He's afraid to make some changes half time. We see him bringing on Cole Palmer later in the game. Cole Palmer scoring a goal. You know, why was that? I understand why maybe you didn't want to drop Saka, fine. But why you need to find a way to accommodate somebody like Cole Palmer playing in that side? It was one of the best players in the Premier League season. You need to find a way to get the best out of your players. You have Jude Bellingham, player of the season La Liga. Like I said, Harry Kane, Bundesliga goal scorer. Cole Palmer, Saka, Foden, three best wingers and attacking
And
midfielders
of
last
course,
season.
Foden was voted player of
Player
the
of
year in England as well.
Player of the year in England, like you said. Ollie Watkins, most non-penalty goals last season. It's ridiculous. You find a way to make use of your best players.
So who are some
And
of the replacements then, Christoph? If you get rid of Southgate, who are some of the names we should be looking to see England bringing in? That is
I,
indeed the question.
I think England should probably consider Jose Mourinho.
Mm. But I mean, we've not known Mourinho to be a country coach. We know Mourinho as a club coach, but
Right,
we've
but
never seen him at the international level.
a lot of managers when they do get older, they do transition into international. So it might be
But I
time for him
mean,
potentially.
is that the sort of, I mean, with these attacking talents which you're just highlighted, Mourinho isn't known for his attacking skill either, Christoph. Mourinho
False,
is probably
false,
more
false.
defensive than a Southgate.
Oh, he is a very good defensive coach. I will give you that. But Mourinho, one La Liga with that a very attacking Real Madrid team.
I would say look to the Netherlands, look to the Dutch coaches like Hiddink, for example, Gus Hiddink, possibly a Van Gaal. Yeah, these are
No.
players who play, are coaches who really come with the total football, which is what I think this England team should be looking going forward. Have a
Andre,
system, a structure,
what
possibly a 4-3-3, and set your team up to fit that system of play.
I think since Pep Guardiola is leaving Man City, I think England should consider hiring him.
I haven't heard of that. When is Pep leaving?
At the end of the upcoming season. At the
You
end of
know,
the
man, that is far. You need a coach now to get in.
fine,
And
fine,
there's no
fine.
guarantee Pep will take that job either. So
No,
you can't be banking on
there's
possibility.
no
You
guarantee.
need
So
a coach
you're
to get
asking
in
from
now.
now. No, you're asking from now. Hey, do you want the England
No,
job?
no, not at all, not at
I
all.
mean,
I
we're
don't
going
think
to
you should
appoint
bring in any
somebody for the
interim.
meantime.
Bring in a
No,
coach now who is permanently appointed. If you're gonna get rid of
hey,
Southgate, but the fact is,
if England want to win anything, I want to win the next World Cup, hire Pep Guardiola.
well,
Pay him
I'm not
whatever
sure
he
that
wants.
England usually go for an English coach. That
Usually,
has been their trend for the most part. I believe there was
Sven
that
Goran Eriksson.
Italian, right? A few exceptions to that rule, but for the most part, it seemed as if first option would be to get in an English manager. But we've seen where they've gone outside of England. Spenger and Ericsson, there was Capello as well. But for the most part, a number of names, possibly that young coach from Newcastle as well. Eddie Howe, that's
Eddie
a
Howe.
possibility, a name I've been hearing floating around. But your guess is as good as mine. I mean, this is the English FA. Money is there. and lots of options. A very high-profile job in world football,
I
indeed. And
fight, I
any,
fight the Pep.
mm, that's a
I
thought.
fight the Pep. Go in for him now. Ask him, hey, we're going to wait until you're done at Man City. We want you for the job. I'll fight the Pep. I'll fight the Pep.
Yeah, but the one thing is offering it. There's no guarantee Pep will accept. That is the
No,
point I'm
that's what I'm
making.
saying.
So
You're
you
you're
can't
going
put
to
all your eggs in the Pep basket, and
you
then
offer it
that
now.
blows up in your face.
Offer it now. Sign him to a pre-contract or something.
I'm not sure about that. That sounds like a far-fetched idea. But what of the Spanish team, Christoph? What can we say? European champions really taking the Euros by storm, and we see a number of youngsters having a breakout tournament, you could say. Yamal winning best young player of the tournament, Rodri winning player of the tournament, and we also saw a number of very skillful players putting on display their show. Talk to us about the Spanish team?
So I think the Spanish team was excellent throughout the entire tournament. Very few faults I found with them. If I don't recall seeing any real faults all tournament. They're a young team. They have the right mix of experience and youth, and they will only get better going forward. But I must say, while the Spanish team did very well at this tournament, we have to remember that a lot of these European teams did underperform. France underperformed. England, despite reaching the final, was underperforming. Belgium, very much underperformed. So, um, this Spanish team excellent, but all the
Not
other
sure,
teams,
is it really
big teams.
underperforming or did the Spanish outperform them?
Uh,
I would rather look at it from a case where the Spanish outperform them because
yeah,
if you look
but
at the tournament,
both can be true. They're not
well,
mutually
yeah, I
exclusive.
would more so credit the Spanish style of play and system of play as opposed to other teams not performing as they should. Because what is the measure? How do we know the levels at which these teams can perform? We've never seen it. We are very expectant. For example, with the names on paper for England, we were very expectant of a performance, but that performance never came in this tournament any at all. We did not see the players living up to their name. They got the results, they scraped through, they went to penalties, they went to extra time, they nicked a goal here, they nicked a goal there. But we never saw the full potential of these players, what we know they are capable of coming to
Right.
the fore.
So
I
the
mean,
teams
Spain was the
underperformed.
best team throughout the tournament. So there's really no way
Yes,
for us to
but
know what was
also
England's best
we
because we
we
just never saw it.
we saw England perform better last World Cup. We saw them perform well the Euros before, and this is roughly it's almost the same team. Few changes here and there. You know, players like Sterling getting dropped because they've been underperforming at the club level. And I think a lot of the players who are currently in the English squad, are deserve to be there.
But is this really an English player failure or is this the English level? Is it a failure in your eyes or this is where
I
they should be? Getting
I
to the final, but at the end of the day, not winning anything.
no, this has to be seen as a failure. The team, the quality of players that are there are better than the level that they are performing. This is not their
So who
level.
is to
There's a
blame at this point in time? Where does the blame lie? Is it with the manager or is it with the players?
Uh, right now, I think the blame must lie with Southgate. What the system that he is playing, there's no fluidity in the team that we saw for the majority of this tournament. You saw glimpses of it here and there, but the fluidness, this is not a team that knows how to play together.
Indeed, yes, definitely. That was one of the highlights I saw. A number of new players really coming into the mix. The likes of Ameno, for example. In this Euro, he was getting probably a run in the team that he has never really gotten before. The combination of players were fairly fresh. It would be interesting to see if these set of players have ever played together. The experiment with Trent, for example, Christoph, in the midfield that could have been seen as an epic fail, in all honesty. Yet they still managed to get to the final. So it's possible that these results leading up to the final could have just been glossing over the clear and obvious flaws within the system under Southgate. And indeed, not winning the Euros may very well be a good thing for England, in that it shows them where their weaknesses are and what needs to be done in order to make a sustained push towards a title. I mean, when you look at England, a team which has never won the Euros. The last time England won any major silverware, Christoph, was in 1966. Can you believe it? The home of football, so to speak. It seems as if it's never coming home.
Probably not.
But I mean, as I said, the ball is round, and credit must be given to Spain. I must say, they've had a tremendous tournament. They have been the best team in the Euros, in my opinion, and I am so happy that they were able to get that victory over England, and now they are lifting, I believe, their fourth European title, the winningest European country when it comes to the Euros. So definitely congratulations to Spain, and credit goes out to that entire coaching staff and players. But Christoph, any final thoughts as it relates to both these tournaments, the Copa America and the Euros, and what can we look for in the future in terms of football going forward?
Personally, I am very happy that both these tournaments are over. I think the players should they should have decided to scrap them this summer and give the players a chance to rest, because the overall quality of both tournaments was very poor in my eyes. That's what I thought, seeing watching the games poor overall, both tournaments. I'm looking forward to the pre-seasons that are coming up for the clubs at the moment, but also the transfer market, because we notice a lot of teams making some quiet transfers, so to speak. The only, big transfer of note is probably Kylian Mbappe. But from what I've seen, teams have been making silent transfers and not announcing them at the moment.
Indeed, definitely. And today I saw a number of friendlies. Of course, Manchester United were in action versus Rosenborg. And of course, they came up on the back of a 1-0 defeat there. So early defeat there for Manchester United in the preseason to the start of the official EPL season this year. And I mean, many of these teams, as you say, have not really made any significant transfers thus yet, Christoph. And teams like Manchester United, teams like Chelsea, needs
United
to
do have
make
one
some big
significant transfer.
signing in order to make a push to challenge for the title. And early signs are more of the same come next season for the likes of a Manchester United. More of the same. I see Sancho
Who's the
apologizing
Chelsea
as
manager?
well to Ten Hag and being reintegrated into the squad. So, I mean, Chelsea has a new manager, Enzo. He is
Enzo?
the former manager of Leicester City, former assistant under Pep Guardiola at Man City. So Enzo is the new man in charge over there at Chelsea, and we see Chelsea grabbing one of those players from Leicester, which came up under Enzo, Dewsbury Hall. Many may be rather unfamiliar with that name. Indeed, I don't believe it's a name that will move the needle any at all. In all honesty, Chelsea has this tendency now to be signing subpar players, mid-table players, and hoping that they will grow and burst out into stars. And I see no difference with the signing. Dewsbury Hall, Leicester midfielder there, and he is now over there at Chelsea. So he would
I
be
mean,
competing in that midfield with the likes of Enzo, Gallagher, Caicedo,
to
and
be
the lot,
fair,
who came up rather short.
at this point in time, I'm not even sure Chelsea has a scouting department, because for years, what I've noticed is that other big teams, um, probably most notably Arsenal, has shown interest in a player, and all of a sudden Chelsea pounces and signs that player. Um, one of the biggest
Well,
examples of
that
that,
could be their blueprint. Look at what the competition is doing, and they beat the competition to the player, Christoph. That
the
could be the
more
case.
the most recently there was the Modric signing that they got.
Right, right.
Arsenal had a
Similar
deal in
thing to
place,
also with Caicedo and Liverpool,
right?
you
And then
know, so
the most notable one is that Arsenal was buying Eden Hazard, and then Chelsea came in with a very big bid and
well, that
stole
one
that
seemed to have
transfer.
worked out in all
Yeah,
honesty. That
that one has worked out. But
that
for years, this is what I've seen Chelsea do. Other
well, it's a
teams
good
are
plan.
have shown
I
interest in.
mean, you look at what the competition is doing and then beat the competition to the punch. So technically, you're killing two birds with one stone. You're
Uh,
getting a good player from the competition, and then
it
you're
seems to
also
be
getting him to
it seems
represent
to
you.
be seems to be backfiring at the moment.
Ah, indeed, indeed. Lots to come, viewers and subscribers. Lots to come. But Christoph, again, thank you for coming through and really sharing your thoughts and your opinions as it relates to the Euros and the Copa America. Lots of football coming up, viewers and subscribers. The pre-season is kicking off in earnest. Manchester United in action today, and they will also be facing Arsenal. Couple a week from today as well. Liverpool will also take on Real Betis over there in Pittsburgh. I'll definitely be hoping to see that one. And of course, lots more actions coming up. But thanks again, viewers and subscribers, for really tuning into us here on Beating the Press podcast. Again, help us to grow the channel by sharing, liking, and of course, leaving your comments in the comment section. But until next time, this is Rafa signing off.